Hi, this is Mark Spencer. I'm the Southwest Projects Coordinator for Judicial Watch out here in Phoenix, Arizona. I spent 25 years of my life as a Phoenix police officer, retired 5 years ago, and came on board with Judicial Watch. It was during my time as a Phoenix police officer, we had severe confrontations with department management over their immigration policy. It was extremely restrictive and was causing a great deal of damage. In 2004, the Phoenix Police Department embraced a very restrictive immigration policy, which mandated that the only way officers could contact federal immigration partners at ICE or Border Patrol was through a single Violent Crimes Bureau sergeant. The policy basically mandated that an illegal alien create another victim, cause more damage, and engage in more crime before ICE could be contacted. The results of this were at least 6 Phoenix police officers murdered by illegal aliens. In 2006-2007, out of every 10 homicide victims in the city of Phoenix, 6 were Hispanic. Out of the 6 Hispanic homicide victims, 3 were directly connected to illegal immigration. This restrictive policy in regards to contacting ICE was literally killing cops and killing our Hispanic community partners. As the president of the Phoenix Law Enforcement Association in that time, we got that policy changed in 2008. The change basically did this. It gave officers the discretionary ability to pick up the phone and call ICE. When an officer contacted a person whom they believed was in the country illegally and that person was connected to a crime, the officer could make a discretionary phone call to ICE to get their input and their involvement in the situation. It worked extremely well. It was a test run of what's known as Senate Bill 1070, our immigration policy out here in Arizona. In the first 6 months of that policy being implemented, we saw violent crimes, homicide drop 24%, stolen vehicles drop 25%. Within 2 years of that policy in place, we saw a 20-year low crime rate in the city of Phoenix, and not a single bias policing, racial profiling, or constitutional violation complaint on part of any Phoenix police officers. It worked incredibly well. One homicide officer's clearance rate went from 5 to 80%, and I said, how could that be? And he said, well, when you know who the bad guys are, they're easier to catch. The policy was a test drive of Senate Bill 1070, and it made all the difference. It certainly had a positive impact on our quality of life. Alarmingly, just last month, June of 2017, here in Phoenix, the Phoenix Police Department submitted a revision to our immigration policy. Mom always said, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. And this seems to be the situation here. The policy wasn't broken, but they feel a need to fix it. It's not for practical policing purposes, but really appears to be connected to a political agenda. We are now reverting back to a restrictive policy of 2004. It's restrictive, and it embraces a sanctuary city mentality. They have striking provisions that allows for sound judgment. An officer was allowed to exercise sound judgment no longer. The old policy stated officers are encouraged to contact supervisors when necessary. It's stricken. The old policy stated under no circumstances will this provision limit or restrict the enforcement of federal immigration laws to less than the full extent permitted by federal law. That's been struck. Once again, we've gone back in time to 2004. All contact with ICE has to be through a single individual, the Violent Crimes Bureau sergeant. A 3,000-person department is being funneled and bottlenecked with the federal crime of illegal immigration through a single person that sits at a desk in headquarters. When it comes to counterfeiting or weapons or drugs or warrants, Phoenix police officers have the freedom and the discretion to contact ATF, DEA, the FBI, Secret Service, U.S. Marshals, even postal inspectors. But once again, this policy revision restricts that. We get terms like must first contact the violent crime sergeant. We have a term, you need approval to call ICE. We have a phrase in here, must not ask about the immigration status of an individual. When it comes to the crime of drug dealing or prostitution or criminal street gangs, police officers can engage in what's known as consensual contact. They can engage in consensual conversations with a person. The person doesn't have to talk to the officer. but the officer is free to do it. When it comes to the crime of illegal immigration, consensual contact has been stricken. It's no longer allowed. It's gotten to a point in this policy with the politics involved where the legal term that's recognized both federally and within the state, the term illegal alien, has been struck from the policy. Now illegal aliens under this new revision are known as persons unlawfully present. Changing terms doesn't make bad things go away. A bank robber is not an aggressive borrower. A drug dealer is not an unlicensed pharmacist. It doesn't solve the problem, and just calling it just a person unlawfully present doesn't relieve the crime that's connected to illegal immigration. This policy revision is in place. It restricts documentation by officers of their contacts with illegal aliens. Thus, if you don't document a problem, it must not exist. That's the world when the rule of law becomes unimportant. Once again, this is not a policy revision that's driven by problems. We've received no complaints as far as bias policing or racial profiling. It appears truly to be driven by politics and a sanctuary city mentality. Phoenix is already 800 to 1,000 officers short. It's the fifth largest city in the country. Maricopa County is the fastest growing county in the country. And to put federal law enforcement dollars at risk because of a liberal open borders sanctuary policy doesn't make sense. Once again, working conditions for police officers will become hazardous. Quality of life and safety in our communities will be subject to forfeiture, all because of politics. Any other crime we're free to address in a proactive, common sense fashion. But when it comes to the crime of illegal immigration, it's restricted now through this policy revision to one person. It's problematic, and Judicial Watch was informed about it. It's important for us to make sure that the rule of law is followed, that conservative principles are engaged in. We've been on the rule of law side when it comes to illegal immigration in Arizona in the past, and we will remain there. It makes the difference and it works. Appreciate your support and the fact that you pay attention. Phoenix seems to be a hotbed of activity. Meeting between Lynch and Clinton happened on a tarmac in Phoenix. The VA scandal originated out of Phoenix. Fast and Furious originated out of Phoenix. Senate Bill 1070 came out of Phoenix. And here, once again, we're doing battle with a liberal mindset at a local level that has national implications. Once again, we appreciate you paying attention and partnering with us. This is Mark Spencer. I'm the Southwest Phoenix Projects Coordinator for Judicial Watch in Phoenix, Arizona. Have a great day. Bye.